Today we are going to be talking about super weapons in Star Wars, obviously.
See, like my general thoughts on the super weapons. I'll start with the original trilogy because that's what we've got on right now.
This is a starting point for the super weapons as well.
Yes, I like the Death Star.
Which one?
First one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think like if there's anything to complain about with the original trilogy is that they make another one, and it's like
Yeah.
To me, I've always looked at it as like, oh, we need another big bad. Let's make a second Death Star but bigger.
Yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
And that was always been my feeling with it. But the first Death Star, like, just everything about it is so awesome.
Yeah, I would also say it's probably the best super weapon out of all of the. I'm talking about like everything. There's one other one I'll bring up when we're done with the movies that I think rivals it, but I mean this is the one we have the most like information about. It's like the one that started it all. It's like the big tension builder in A New Hope. It's the climax, the trench run and all that. It's like super important. We have an entire movie about how they got the plans, and then another movie about how the plans got to the rebellion and them analyzing it. And like there's all these like books when Rogue One came out just talking about like the importance of it, like the kyber crystal. Even Rebels deals with like the kyber crystals that power it with the laser and everything. So like this is the one that gets the most attention.
Yeah, and like just even the build up, like they go all the way back to Attack of the Clones. They even referenced it at the very end, like, oh, the Geonosians are...
That's true.
...are, like, going to be building
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, so, like, the Death Star is, like, a big bad that has been, like, built up. It's like, oh, this can literally blow up planets.
It's a big deal. It's also at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Now I'm remembering that, too. They're seeing it being constructed.
Which is great. But I almost feel like... I don't know a lot of behind the scenes and, like what George Lucas's actual vision was, but like I feel like they almost didn't want to blow up the first one. They should have just like kept it as like the big bad thing until the last movie, or at least like for another movie, because I feel like making a second one is like, little do you know, we made a second one but bigger.
See, I feel like that's more of a problem with Starkiller Base than perhaps the Death Star, because I mean.
Oh yeah, don't even go. Let's wait to get started on Star.
Okay, yeah, no. but I mean, another thing I'm talking about how much they focus on this. There's an entire chunk of the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, dedicated to them being inside the Death Star, running around. So like out of all maybe the places in Star Wars, you get like a central focus on this and just how important it is and taking it out is. But comparing that with Death Star 2, which I think it is just called Death Star 2. I don't think there's like an actual name for it. So, I mean, on the one hand, it does seem like, we need like you said, we need like some big tension for the climax. So let's have another Death Star. But I do feel like it does make some sense. None of like the new canon stuff other than like one line I can remember from a comic book really goes into how it was made or anything going behind it. But I do like it though. Because it makes sense, at least to me, that the Emperor is so petty that he's like, oh, you blow up my battle station, all right, I'm gonna make it even bigger, better, and more indestructible than it was the last time. I mean, that was like the tool he was gonna use, and it was like he only got to use it once,
Yeah, I don't hate the second Death Star. I just wish they would like made like a different super weapon. Cause just seeing
that's true.
Like I guess my thing is that just the second Death Star, I'm like, oh, well, why don't you just keep the first one, or like why don't you make like what's the giant Star Destroyer called?
In what?
In the second, or no, I'm sorry, Empire Strikes Back.
The Super Star Destroyer?
Yeah.
The Executor?
That could have been like the super weapon. Give it like one of those, give it a Death Star array or something. Like, oh, this one can jump hyperspace. This is bad.
I think, yeah, you could have done something like that.
Yeah.
I think in the, some expanded something, it actually does have a super laser on the bottom. I don't know what I'm remembering that from, but I know I've seen it. So I mean, you're onto something. But
Yeah, that's my complaint. More of like an aesthetic thing.
yeah, I will say though, it is different in Return of the Jedi. The movie isn't like, I mean, kinda. It's not like the central focus of we got to take out the Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about like the Empire as a whole. Um, I mean, they do spice it up. It is under construction, and I do
Yeah.
how like it's the one chance they have. They got to get it now because if when it's complete, you can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they take it out in a different way, which is kind of cool. They go inside like the scaffolding
Yes.
and all that, which is kind of neat. But yeah, I definitely prefer the first Death Star. But I do like the second one.
Mm-hmm.
If not just to show like how much the Empire means business, how many resources they have. Like it took about 19 years to make the first Death Star, or actually over 20 years. The second one took, I mean, I think the thing was like almost complete. It took about 4. So it just shows you like, their willpower and all that.
That's true. I've always looked at it like in a more cynical way. So
Okay, yeah, no, I mean it's not. From a writing standpoint, I'm not gonna be so blind as to think like, oh,
I mean,
it's clearly there for tension.
And it's like even so, like I'm not gonna hate on the fact that they built the second one just like a bigger one because I like how it's halfway built, or not completely built. It does make it look a little bit different. But like as a kid, didn't know there was 2. Thought there was 1. And like the blowed up one was just like, oh, we actually managed to salvage some of it.
Oh, I
like,
didn't.
As a kid, not understanding what film was, like, in my head, I was like, oh, they've just like managed to salvage like big chunks of it, and like we're able to piece it back together. Now they're trying to rebuild it.
I mean, I guess as a kid, they never directly, say that that's not the case, but I mean, I've had stuff like that as a kid where I thought something for the longest time, and then it was like I thought about it later and like, oh yeah, like for instance, those things in Attack of the Clones, like those like core ships at the bottom, and they float up and they go in like the half the donut hole thing.
Yeah,
I used to think that those were Death Star prototypes. I thought they were like Death Stars. I was like, oh, cool, and then I thought about it later. I was like, oh, wait, okay. But,
speaking of those, it took me so long to realize that those cores were actually going into the donut thing, the ship. I'm like, those are weird ships. They're just balls. Not realizing it was like the core of a bigger ship. Which, are those aren't super weapons?
No, those are like carriers.
Okay.
I mean, those are just like they house the transports and stuff, and they can
those are
blockades.
Cool looking ships.
Yes, yeah. So I think that's everything in the original trilogy.
Yeah, they don't really have any like giant super weapon like level things other than the Death Star.
Yeah, so. I mean, I can't even think of anything in like a comic book or something. I think it's just those 2. Prequel trilogy stayed away, aside from showing how the Death Star got made. Like General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith isn't commanding like a mini like Death Star or anything, or like the Malevolence or something.
Yeah. But the sequel
trilogy kind of falls in the same trap.
Yeah, it's hard because we haven't recorded our movie reviews.
That's true. Yeah,
but
we'll get there.
We will.
Building the anticipation.
Yes, but at the edge of your seats, just waiting for that upload.
Yeah.
But for the Starkiller base, cool concept. I think like I think like a giant like a planet super weapon, like if it wasn't already done with a moon super weapon, it's like it maybe in another form of media would have been cooler, but with Starkiller base being able to like this like rogue army built a super weapon that could literally wipe out an entire system, and it's like like I liked it when I first saw it. Don't really like it anymore.
How you feel about Death Star 2 is how I feel about Starkiller Base. I am like so mixed on it because if you isolate it as just within Star Wars and you look at it as an evolution of the Empire's tech, the regime First Order is trying to improve upon what the Empire did, and they're like, okay, well, the 2 Death Stars failed, so we're not going to do that, but we'll we'll make it into a planet because it's easier. And, if you go into, like, the extended stuff, like Jedi Fallen Order and some of, like, the resource books, you find out that that's Ilum, the place where the Jedi get their kyber crystals. So that's why, like, the cannon can hold the charge and everything.
Yeah.
And it was under Imperial control, which is how the First Order got it, because they knew no one else knew. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, if you look at it as an evolution of the Death Star and the tech, that's fine.
Which, if they would have built it up a little bit more, that's the biggest. Without getting too much into the problems with the sequels, that's like if they would have built them up and the First Order up, like, kind of give us a little more backstories how they got that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it would be like more, okay, I'm fine with the fact they have a super weapon that can literally end, like, life in the galaxy.
Yeah.
But there's no build up. It's just they have it.
Well, yeah, that goes into my other part. Like, if you look at it from a storytelling aspect, they were like, oh, we got to do New Hope again. Well, we got to have a Death Star. But we can't just have a Death Star. Oh, let's have it be a planet. Oh, let's have it blow up 5 planets at once, and it eats suns. Like, it's just be like, oh, Death Star, but more extreme.
Yeah,
It's just kind of it's just lazy, I guess, is my thing. Is like, if I think about it, it's like it's literally just another Death Star, and that was something that bothered me from my initial watch of the movie. One of the people I saw Force Awakens with, we were talking. And he was like, his initial reaction out of the movie was like, that was too close to A New Hope. And I was like, I guess. In, like, some places, I hadn't really thought about it.
Yeah.
The one thing since that initial viewing that bugged me was it's just very clearly another Death Star. I mean, they basically say it in the movie, too. With a pretty, like, mediocre weakness as well. It's like you blow up the oscillator and then the entire planet collapses. And I feel like... This isn't my original thought. I know I heard it somewhere. But had they, like, crippled Starkiller Base in Force Awakens, like, they blow it up, or, like, they blow up, like, the weapon, and the planet stays intact, but they're able to get away and, like, evacuate their base, I feel like that would have been better than just them completely destroying it. Because then, you like you were saying, you have that threat throughout the sequels, like, okay, they're going to rebuild it. They could make it better. But... that and then, like, a nitpick is, like, how does it, like, shoot 5 things at once that go, like, specifically at the targets? Because it looked like one big unit beam at first.
How is it locking on? How is a laser? It's like by itself locking onto multiple planets.
Yeah,
they're not shooting from multiple barrels.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like
it's like the Death Star had like. It had like the 5 lasers that would conjoin into one and form the super laser.
Yeah, and then the big one that would, like, shoot out, like, through the other, like, ones that were pinpointing.
Yes. This one is just like I don't know.
It just fires and then just splits. It's strange.
Yeah, and it knows where to go.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's a nitpick. But it's just weird to me. And it's like, okay, can it fire, like, less than 5? Can it fire more than 5? Like, could it do, like 2 2 solar systems at the same time?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean...
Can it just do 1?
Yeah, but I do like the idea, like, it's like their base is, like, in the planet as well.
Yes.
Like when Rey and Finn are running around on there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it'd be cool if it was set up or if it was, like, in another medium that was, like, I guess... Okay, what if, like, the majority of the movie was on Starkiller Base? Like... I don't know, like...
If they had, like, a show that did that or something.
Yeah, just give it something instead of just introducing this awesome super weapon, then blowing it up and being like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just A New Hope. So it...
Yeah, I don't know. I see, again, it's like I like it, but I also don't like it. I think it's lazy.
Yeah.
It's also, like, kind of
It's a cool concept, but, like, I just feel like they executed it so poorly. Which you can really say about the entire sequel
trilogy is like, yeah, there's some neat ideas, neat things in there, but overall it's just kind of disappointing.
Yeah. It's like other medias have done it better.
Yeah.
Like TV shows.
I mean, they even defeat it the same way. There's like a trench run, and then they go inside of it like the second Death Star and blow it up. And also, I was thinking, how Last Jedi wanted Poe to be, like, reckless or whatever and blow up the dreadnought, but it didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
wouldn't it have, like, if they had crippled the weapon instead of actually blowing it up, that would have been better, I feel like, for Poe's stories. Like, if you wanted to make him sort of greedy and like, hey, I never got to blow the thing up, if he was more bloodthirsty, that's why he went after the dreadnought, so he could make like a dent against the First Order.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he could feel guilty or like remorse, like, damn, like we didn't take it out, it's still out there or
Yeah.
something.
Do you consider the dreadnought a super weapon?
I wanted to get into that too. That we could go into this like a greater debate of like what constitutes as a super weapon.
Yeah.
Because like, does it have to be an actual weapon that fires something, or can it be something else?
I don't know a lot about like extended universe super weapons as I'm sure you do. But like,
yeah,
I mean,
some stuff.
I know pretty much nothing. But like, I know like there could be, like, I don't know. Does it have to be a weapon that could blow up a planet, or like can the incinerator cannons that like wipe like an entire section of a planet off or whatever? Because like,
would a super weapon constitute just as like a normal weapon, or like it takes like the concept of like a normal weapon and just amplifies it? So, you know, like a Death Star is like a blast or like a gun, but they just make it so it to this, like they up the scale so now it takes down a planet.
Yeah.
You know, is it like that, or is it just something like insanely massive that, you know, like a dreadnought?
Yeah.
Because I that one teeters. I could maybe consider that a super weapon.
What about like Snoke's capital ship?
That
It doesn't really have a weapon though. It's just a giant ship.
It's got a bunch of, yeah, it's like a factory kind of. Maybe, I don't know. I see. I would not consider that a super weapon. Well, it's like, do you consider the Super Star Destroyer a super weapon, just by itself, no laser at the bottom?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably
Yeah.
not. At least for me. I don't know about you.
I guess super weapon should just speak more. If we simplify it, we can just say like it's a weapon or something that has extreme destructive capabilities, enough to like make like either kill all life on a planet or kill most people on a planet, or
it goes
kill
above and beyond in terms of its destruction. Okay, I would consider the Dreadnought a form of a super weapon. Maybe not a straight up one, but it kind of like, rides the line.
Whatever one step below a super weapon is.
Yeah, because they said the thing was like a fleet killer, so it must be able to take out big capital ships with ease.
Which is, you know,
it's pretty impressive.
It may not be able to blow up a planet, but that's like you said, it's still very impressive. So moving on to, you know, episode 9, are the Star Destroyers with planet destroyers underneath them all super weapons?
This is my least favorite one out of anything. It's just, this is, Starkiller Base I said is lazy, but I like, this is just so fucking lazy and cheap. I don't like it. And I mean, I like this movie. It, like, surface level wise, I mean, I think it's bad, but, you know, I can enjoy it.
Again?
It's called Exegol. Is where they make them.
I like Exegol.
Yeah.
Don't like the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Destroyers.
I mean, it's so fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Again, talking about, like, you know, the way Last Jedi ended, there was no build up. There was no, like, we're moving into the finale with, like, this and these are the stakes. And it just sort of ends with the, like, yeah, they'll defeat them. You'll find out in the next one how. Just sort of like, okay. So with this, they needed to, like, raise the stakes. And their method of doing that was, okay, well, Palpatine can't just have a fleet. And also, the threat of Palpatine coming back should have been enough tension, but it's like, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Not only is he back, not only does he have a fleet of 10,000 Star Destroyers, each one of those 10,000 has a planet-killing weapon on the underbelly of it. Mm-hmm. And it's just sort of like, it just feels so cheap, because it's like, you take that thing of the Death Star and how big and important it was that this one thing could take out a weapon. Or take out a planet with its like weapon, and it, like now they can all do it,
and it
doesn't feel natural.
Yeah, and my thing is like, what are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna destroy every single planet in the galaxy?
That's a good point.
What then, Palpy? What are you gonna do then?
Yeah, it's like just destroy any planet that doesn't submit. Yeah. It's like it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's like if you're gonna use it as like a deterrent, as like a threat, so people won't mess with you, like holding nukes or whatever. You don't need a whole fleet of them.
Just have the one, and then just say the other ones have it.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, yeah, like you said, just have the one.
Yeah, even just having one is like, damn, we shouldn't mess with this guy. He can blow up our planet.
Yeah. I mean, plus this was the 4th super weapon now, and I mean, people were tired of it by Starkiller Base. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but they shouldn't have done it just for tension's sake. Of, oh wow, we need to have big stakes because if the fleet gets loose, all the planets are gonna blow up, and it's like, whatever. I mean, they're defeated so easily too. How do you defeat it? Oh, you just shoot the cannon. Like, I think they said there's like no shielding on Exegol for whatever stupid ass reason, but it's like, oh, just shoot the cannon and it blows the entire thing up. Like people would complain about like the Death Star having a weakness, but that was an oversight. Like they didn't think that anyone would be able to make a shot that could go down an exhaust port. This is a giant cannon on the underside that, if hit, will cause a chain reaction that will destroy the entire ship. It's just bizarre.
It's very lazy and convenient writing. It's like, at this point, we could think of something better. You know, one cannon with the whole fleet of ship. Just have him like raise an army. He doesn't need a fleet of super weapons. It feels like fan fiction.
Yeah. Well, they also never explain how they make it. I mean, there's a comic book that explains it, but again, you shouldn't have to read a comic book to understand something in a multi-million-dollar movie.
Does he shoot it out of his like Jedi mind jizz?
No, there's factories down there. He was building them before Return of the Jedi. It's weird.
Yeah.
I liked the comic when I read it, but now that I'm actually like saying it out loud, it is kind of strange that he had that. I don't think they all had planet-killing technology, but yeah, no, it's just lazy to build the tension, and that's the thing. It doesn't feel tense anymore because it's like, oh wow, the 4th planet-destroying thing in a fucking Star Wars movie.
How are they gonna blow every single one of these up within the next half hour?
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck. And you know what? The laziest part of it all, the design, it is just an original trilogy Star Destroyer with a gun on the bottom. Nothing new, nothing cool. I thought, what if they like, you know, tapped into like the Sith history or something, and like one of the ancient Sith had all of these ships built on the planet, and he was like keeping it secret for like, you know, whoever can find the fucking Sith thing, and Palpatine and Vader were trying to find it. And that's why Palpatine built the Death Star or something. Like, he heard about like planet destroying things. He's like, oh, let me try that. And then you know, like he actually his
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, like his spirit finds Exegol, and he's actually able to like unearth ancient Sith. You can have it look all like weird and abstract.
Yeah, like get like weird effigies on it and shit.
No, it's just the original trilogy Star Destroyers.
Yeah, no.
And destroyed by civilian ships, nonetheless, or not nonetheless, but you know.
Yeah, no, a literal hodgepodge of just fucking everyone from every point of the Star Wars series just shows up.
Hang on one second, I'm gonna pull up that super weapon page.
Yeah, because I wanna talk about the extended universe ones, because I feel like those ones that are like not so like just like big laser super weapons, you know?
Oh, yes.
Ones that are like, oh, this one is just like can create a gravity well or whatever.
Do you want to go into... Oh, that's another thing. I forgot about that. The gravity well one. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go into the shows? Or do you want to go into, like, just everything?
We can do shows.
Okay.
That way a little more relevant.
So, the first one that came to mind was... Do you remember in Clone Wars Season 1? I think this counts as a super weapon. The defoliator. It was that thing where they were on like the lemur planet, and it would shoot out the thing and deforest everything. That was pretty cool.
I feel like if they expanded on that a little bit more, maybe made it like a giant cannon on the bottom of a ship.
Oh God, yeah, and then they could do it from like the air.
Yeah,
or like
it's kind of like the incinerator cannons from Episode 8, but like literally just like shoot it on the planet and just wipes all life like
yeah
that.
Like it could wipe out like a good chunk of like the hemisphere.
I'm sure if like they pursued it, they could make it like an entire planet killing thing too.
Like the Death Star, but like the planet's intact, but all like the surface is destroyed. That'd be cool. I liked that one a lot.
Is the Malevolence?
That was another one I was going to bring up. The Malevolence. I would count that. That's a good one.
That's a really good one. Because it's a super weapon in the way that, like, oh yeah, it could literally destroy a fleet of ships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like, it doesn't destroy them with the weapon, it just disables them, and
Yes,
then
yeah.
like anyone can destroy them. So it's
And-
got steps.
Yes, yeah, and it's using pre-existing technology like the ion weapons that you saw like in Return of the Jedi, or not Return of the Jedi, Empire, like the giant boob gun, and like the Y-wings have like the disabling thing.
Boob gun.
Yeah, oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. But like
I love
the
it though. It's
yeah,
so funny.
yeah, but it's like it's a neat idea and a neat tactic of like, oh, instead of just blowing them up, it's like, okay, you disable them. You could like, in the range of that thing is insane. And again, they kind of did. I just thought of that. They kind of did what I thought they should have done with Starkiller Base. They destroy the weapon, but the ship's still intact. And there's a whole episode about the ship trying to escape.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool because they're like, oh, we got to get back to Separatist space and repair it.
Yeah, which is, definitely a threat. We don't want them to get away to repair it.
Yes, yeah.
That's a whole nother episode.
Another kind of ion weapon. Do you remember that bomb thing from the one episode with like the Zillow Beast that was like in the planet? You remember they shot that like giant like torpedo thing and like impacted and it took out all the droids, but the clones were safe?
Yes.
That one was it's like a ground version of the Malevolence.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, I remember it now.
Yeah, that one,
Yes.
I guess I don't think they ever implemented that after, but that's like a form of a super weapon, I would probably say.
Mm-hmm.
That one I really don't have too much to say about. That one was good.
Yeah. I mean, another like disabling electronic one.
Yeah. I'm just looking at different lists. A lot of these are Death Star. Rebels only really had the Death Star. Oh, it did. Would you consider that temple on Malachor that turned everyone to like stone to be a super weapon? Like a Sith super weapon, maybe?
Yeah.
Like a form of that?
Yeah, like an ancient super weapon.
I don't think they ever explicitly. I mean, I guess it just turns people to stone, right? That's the function.
Yeah.
It was they never fully explained it, but like the temple closed and there was like this big blast or something, and like there's all those like petrified Jedi and Sith, which is kind of neat.
It doesn't look like it's a good thing if it goes off. So
no, no. Apparently Vader and Ahsoka survived it though, so whatever.
They have Jedi plot armor.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, from Rebels, never mind. Do you remember the pulse arc generator that Sabine built that could kill Mandalorians, like go through their Beskar or whatever?
Didn't it like superheat their Beskar?
I thought it just went like it hit everything but their Beskar. I don't remember. I've seen the show 3 times, but I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all.
I know what you're talking about.
I guess that's a super weapon. I mean, they only really use it the one episode.
I was gonna say, if it only works on Mandalorians, it's more of just like a fucked up weapon.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess you could consider that a super weapon. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about that one either, but I just figured I should mention it. I just said Rebels didn't have anything. But my favorite super weapon, it's not canon anymore. Other than the Death Star, it's my favorite super weapon. It's from Knights of the Old Republic. I guess spoilers for a nearly 20-year-old game. But
how could you?
At the very end, and I might go off on a tangent here, you find out that this whole thing you're looking for at the entire game is something called the Star Forge. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes.
Okay. It's this giant ancient Sith factory that harnesses the heat and power from a sun and draws it in. And with it, you can make an infinite amount of ships, fleet, armor. It's basically like an endless factory.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is like the Sith want to get their hands on it because they got the Republic on the ropes, and they're like, okay, if we have this, I mean, think about it, infinite like troops and supplies, like you're fucking set. And that's my favorite one, just because it's like it's such a cool idea. It's not like a typical super weapon, just like it's a factory, you know.
Yeah, but it doesn't physically actually destroy anything.
Right. Yeah. I don't even think that they. I don't know if they destroy it at the end. I think they do. I'm not sure how. But I was thinking, like, in episode 9, why did they not use the Star Forge to explain everything Palpatine had? It's an ancient Sith weapon. He could have found it. He could have been harnessing it from the sun and say that that's where they got the idea for Starkiller, like that kind of technology. He could have just been pumping it out, and then that could have been the thing. Yeah, we have to take out Palpatine's factory. And that could have also explained where the First Order got all of their fucking resources from. He was just sending it to them. Like, why not? It would explain everything. They have the rights to use it. It's not like, oh, we don't own the right. Like, no, you bought it. Just use it. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite. I guess that's basically all the ones we're familiar with. I know that there's way more in the expanded universe. They're all just basically ships with some type of weird weapon or like, something goofy. It always just seems like, they're about to defeat the Empire. Oh, here we go. That's like old.
We can
EU
blow
stuff.
everyone up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
There's probably like minor super weapons I'm just not thinking of. But I mean, that's basically everything. I guess in closing here, I guess the super weapons that work the best are the ones that they dedicate at least some time to explaining.
Yeah. It's the ones where the super... sorry, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's like where they actually focus on them.
Yeah, they focus on them, and it has to raise the stakes in a natural way as well. They can't just like pull the infinite or the 10,000 Star Destroyers out of their ass. It just kind of deflates everything.
Yeah, because like the Malevolence might be one of my favorite ones. It's like, they like, oh shit, like our weapon's like damaged. We gotta get the hell out. Like when their weapon is damaged, like they're in a hurry to go get it fixed, which it adds stakes on both sides.
Well, they also take the time. I don't want to go off too long, but they also take the time in like the very first episode to like show like, Plo Koon and those clones, like they're in the escape pods. They show like how dire the situation is if someone survives this.
Yeah.
Like with the droids hunting them down. So that way in the next episode, when they're threatening the medical station, like what the situation's going to be when or if they hit it,
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's basically my thing. I'd say my favorite, if we're going by like canon, is Death Star.
Yeah.
First one.
Not the second one?
No, second one's probably my second favorite. I'd probably go Death Star 2, Starkiller.
Death Star.
I guess, you know what? In the order that they came out is if we're going by movies, is my ranking. They get worse.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I hate all Death Stars, though.
Life's not fair.